What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Let me get this together over here. All right, cool. All right, so what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, I am Soul of a Man. Welcome to the Soul of a Man channel. What is today? Is today Wednesday? Yeah. So happy Wednesday out there, everybody. Hump day. For real, man. All right, so yeah. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday out there, everybody. Happy Hump Day. So today we are talking about blessings, or today we're talking about blessings or not. Blessings are an opportunity and not the finish line. I should thing over here something. Yeah. So today we are. Oh, hold on. I was trying to have my little notepad with me. So today we are talking about. Let me write this down. Blessings are blessings are an opportunity and not the finish line. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So, wait, let me see. All right, so today we are talking about. Today we're talking about blessings and welcome everyone. And again, I am Mr. Soul of a Man. This is your first time watching me. Don't forget to subscribe. So today we are talking about. Thank you for the gifts. So today we are talking about blessings or the opportunity and not the finish line. So think that I think we've seen enough of those track and field races where people are they have a lead and somebody catches them and passes them up. So I sometimes just saying that. What's going on, sir? How are you? Sometimes sometimes we celebrate a little too early. We do. I'm not saying when something good happens. I'm not saying don't celebrate. Yeah, please feel good about that opportunity and all of that good stuff. But sometimes we feel sometimes when we do get like some kind of blessing or opportunity, yeah, feel great about that. But again, we're talking about blessings or the opportunity and not the finish line. So it's like that door opens and we're like, yes, this is it. But remember, we have to remember. Oh, Soul of a Man. So the. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe, ladies and gentlemen, and don't forget to give me that thumbs up. But I think sometimes I know sometimes we have a tendency to celebrate a little too early. Like one thing to know is that this is not the only great or amazing thing that's coming in your life. Uh, you're going to the gym. I don't know. You're courting somebody. Everything's going great. You have to keep that up, even when you're in a relationship, even when you're engaged, even when you got to remember what got you there. That's the interesting thing is that um, the interesting thing is you have to really and truly remember what got you there, and what got you there and why you were naturally doing it in the first place. Because we get complacent real quick. We could get complacent like really really quick. We can forget, like, man, wait, why am I doing, you have to remember that you are very purposeful and that you are amazing in the things that you're doing, and We are relatively people. Sometimes you can be a deer in the headlights because you may have never been in that situation before, and you get caught up. It's like, wow, I can't believe I'm blah 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 blah. But it just to remember, like, those people aren't just necessarily you're not just necessarily watching them. They're there in your presence as well, and you're still learning, you're still growing. There's always more, and there's always that next level. We're there you go. Yeah, there's always that next level we're pushing, we're achieving to get to. No matter where you are in your life, no matter what it is, no matter what it is that you're trying to do, that there's always that next level. I know some people may be a little allergic to hard work and having to go through stuff. We're at a time. We're at a time where you naturally have to push through. I'll say more spiritual, but this is a time where this is a time where we have to push through because we know if you're somebody that's been if you're anybody that's been on any kind of spiritual journey, any kind of spiritual anything, that there's an activation. That activation does not turn off. It does not turn off. It is with you. Yeah, it's with you from here to kingdom come. So it's with you from here all the way till to the rest of your life. And now I'm spiritual. But anyway, and again, this is your first time watching. Don't forget to subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. But and thank y'all so much for the gifts. But yeah, so we are. If you're activated, there's all kinds of things that's going to happen on your journey. People. One beautiful thing about the times that we're living in now, we have social media, be it a blessing or a curse, however you want to look at it. The amazing thing is that a lot of people talk about similar things. So it's thank you, same to you. The amazing and the important thing is that you're not alone. Like there's you're like, man, why do I always what is it about me that makes me pursue this, or why do I think like this, or why am I like that? And maybe for me pre-internet, I thought there was something wrong with me, but they just got to a point where it's like, well, it's not me, it's really everybody else, for real. What do they say? Like some of those guys, like in those movies, like, nah, you're not, I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me, So it's like perspective. It's how you're looking at it. It's it's naturally like your way of thinking, so to speak. But again, we're talking about blessings are an opportunity and not the finish line. So again, some people, when those opportunities come, I know it is great to be excited. It is amazing to be excited. Whatever whatever again, whatever it is going on in your life. I don't know. You're going to a new school. You move to a new city. Of course, yeah. Of course, you're going to be excited. But in the midst of that, that there's things that you have to do. You really and truly know that there's things that you have to do. Yeah, you have to keep talking that talk, and you have to keep walking that walk. No matter what. Even if you know you are that person. Even if something inside of you say, I am that, I am that I am. I am that individual that has been chosen and purposeful for the times, that we are living in right now. You know that, but the blessing is just a part of it. That is just something that comes with a major opportunity to get you. Hold on, let me see where this thing is at. That's just that thing that's going to get you to. Let me take this off again. That's just that thing that's just going to take you to that next level, and for you, whatever that that's next level is. It's just the consecration, the breaking of the mold from where you were to where you are now. Time doesn't stop for us. Stops on the other side, but for us, time keeps moving. And if we notice anything, we notice that a lot of people are saying time is like we've shifted into a whole nother. Some people feel like they've shifted into a whole nother reality based off of how they're feeling, where they are in life, based on what's going on around them. And we're seeing some interesting signs that are going on out here. If you're yeah, I saw something where the Sea of Galilee, where they said where Jesus was, and I think he was baptized, and all of that stuff is red. It's completely turned red, and that's so you can you can deny these things, but one thing you can't deny is yourself, and you can't deny your altitude, and you can't deny your trajectory, and it's very important that you somebody's ancestor said hi. But it's important not to deny yourself what it is, because you're anchored now in something greater. Whatever. Yeah, it's like that song. Was it Mary Mary, with the shackles of my feet, I can dance. I'm gonna praise him. So it's like those shackles, whatever those shackles were, they're off of your feet now. You remember you have a higher calling than your average person out there. You really and truly, um, have a higher calling. Hmm, I'm just writing on a name. So just it is very important for you to it's very important for you to keep uh, climbing that ladder in righteousness and in truth, and with the power that that you have now. So we don't just because we made it to a certain point. um Ooh, that's a good question. Think you figure it out. You may have more than one calling. You do. You really and truly may have. Somebody asked the question. Somebody asked the question. How do you figure out your calling? You figure it out. You just asked. One thing. What is the word says? You ask not. You have not because you ask not. So you just you simply ask. You look at your skill set. You look at the things that you have. You look at the things that you've been through. For you, it really and truly feels like you're at a point where whatever it was before, you can't go back. So whatever it is that is being purpose for you in your life, it's like it's right there, and you can feel it. Like it gets to a point where you can feel it not just in the natural, but in the spirit and the supernatural, where you can feel it in the inside of you, where that there's something else. There are other things that you have to do out here. Your purpose could be in your it feels like the purpose is in the position or the positions that you're going to find yourself in. So you could it could be a broad stroke, and you can say, well, it's just this one thing, but it's many different moving parts that bring it beautifully, that bring it all together. So like this is one of my purposes to come on here, and I know I have to put myself out there and all of that good stuff, but this is just this is just I'll say this is just one of many things that's to come for me and for you as well. So what's going on, Mr. Cole? How are you? So but yeah, it's an amazing thing, but I'll say it is time for a lot of us to show up because other people are your purpose is to help. I'll just say, yeah, a lot of us, our purposes are to help other people be purposeful in their life and their walk, wherever it is that they're going. We have to now show up. Like we don't have like, oh, I don't. You have to figure it out. Work, kids, whatever. If you have something that's pulling on you, because like I said, your spiritual, awakening, truth, whatever you want to call it, your purpose is gonna keep, like a little kid. It's gonna, like mommy, 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 until you get up. You can't like scream at the child because that's a child, but it's gonna keep. It's gonna keep. One of your purposes, which Miss Ashmore, one of your purposes is to travel. I can tell you that one of your purposes is to travel. It's to boldly travel. Also, it's also to get out into. This is going to help you to break the mold and to get out of your comfort zone. So again, we talked earlier about having these, like the Mary Mary song, "The shackles off my feet so I can dance." I just want to praise him. So it's like the shackles are off of your feet, so you can make stronger and bolder moves, stronger and bolder decisions, so to speak. So yeah. But again, you don't. Sorry, we're talking about blessings are an opportunity and not blessings are an opportunity, not the finish line. So I don't want to get, you know. And some of us are still, we're figuring it out. Like some people say, oh, you have to have it figured out right out of high school. I mean, who has it figured out at, like, I don't know, whatever you graduate high school, what is the average age of what are we, like 18? Who has it figured out? Because there's a multiple amount of things that are going to happen in your life that can change the course of your life. So yeah, but I don't want to go too deep into that. But anyway, even in your 30s, your 40s, 50s, you're still doing things. You're still figuring it out. Maybe you're like later in life, hey, I want to go back to school and blah 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 blah. So it's like your purposeful is going to look purposefully different, but you're going to be purposely fulfilled. You're going to be purposely fulfilled within it. That's one of the mysteries and the joys of life. If you're walking, if you're yeah, see, it's never, people say, oh, well, you're this age, and it's too late for you. No, it's within reason. It's never too late. Some people don't get major opportunities until, like, I don't know, their 40s or sometimes 50s, 60s. So, but they've ran that race of life and they paid their dues. So somebody heard a preacher say, God doesn't bless you in the short run because you didn't necessarily get anything out of that. But in the long run, seeing you being purposeful, seeing you run that race, so to speak, and don't forget to subscribe, folks. Seeing you run that race, so to speak, that's in seeing you jump over these hurdles, not just jump over, but leap over these hurdles and take it on like it's nothing, you know but that's how you are continuously being fulfilled, in your life. What time is it? 18. Okay, cool. So that's how you are being purposely fulfilled in your life. You keep going, you keep moving, one day at a time. One day at a time, one step at a time. But you're moving with purpose, and every step you take, in the natural is like, I don't know, that could be hundreds in the spiritual. You picking up, making a phone call, sending an email, I don't know, filling out whatever it is for you. Because there are greater things that you're called for, that you need to do, that you really and truly need to do out here. For you in your life, if you're seeing this, you are the bringer of success. This isn't naturally It is for you to be fulfilled, to be happy, yes, to be purposeful in your life. Very, very true. But also, it's also for you to bring happiness and joy to other people because you've been there and you've done that. You've seen how not to run a business by working for maybe the wrong people. Through your life or through your lifetime, so to speak. So that you're not just going to, oh, okay, my this quarter, we shattered our financial goals, so here's some drinks and some pizza to celebrate. No, you want to give the people some money too. They need that. So I mean, it's the truth. Oh, yeah, and that's just the nature of the thing. I mean, you're 9 to 5. You work hard. You don't know pizza party. No, I could go home and buy my own pizza. I don't know. I don't. Who wants that? But anyway, yeah. But um, blessed going out, blessed coming through. A lot of things are really naturally unfolding in your life. It just feels like three things, three opportunities, three scripts, three something. Right there. It's almost like you get to make the choice, but the things are going to align. Really and truly, they're going to align. With you. It's like these things are going to start to naturally align within your life. People may see me and they were like, "Oh, you know what, man? I remember when you were, I remember when you were just talking on what is, on social media, and only a few people, blah blah blah. Now it's like you're traveling all over the world, and you're getting paid, this and that. You weren't one of those people that would get on there and say, send me this, hit my cash app and blah 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 blah, and I'll tell you about your But anyway, it is what it is, man. But I know that I have to continue to show up, and I know that I have to be devoted and what it is, and so you never know. The one thing about your journey and you showing up, you never. It's almost like how that's interesting. It's almost like you never. Right, yeah, Miss Cleo. I just saw something with her yesterday. That thing that they did on Lifetime, that more about her life and stuff like that. But what was my train? I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, it's just interesting how it plays out, and by you showing up, you never know who you're inspiring. You never know who's watching. You may never know. That's the thing. You may never know. It is it easy. I see people going. I see people go live every day. I don't. I'm not one that I can't just. I have to do it with purpose. I can't just sit here and just I don't know, just look at the camera and be like, all right, so y'all say something, then I'll say something. I need to have something to talk about. For real. Pulling stuff out of thin air sometimes is not the easiest thing. Like for real. It can be done though. Look at Miss I am who I am for E. But yeah, the spiritual journey it's many, many, many moving parts, man. It is many, many, many moving parts. It you find out so much when I'll say you find out so much more. It's like when you're going to church, or if you're somebody who's been at church or whatever denomination, and you step away from that, and then all of these supernatural things start to happen in your life. It's like dominoes, it's like one after the other after the other after the other. So It's happened with me. I'm sure it's happened with other people before and in history, not just in these generations that we're in now. It's more prevalent, I would say, now because we have social media. This is almost like our bargain chip, so we can get here, we can talk about it, we can, in a sense, kind of make it make sense or try to make it make sense the best we can. We don't. If somebody tells you, um, it's almost like the person that says, "Hey, I have some swampland in Florida to sell you," and you could build condominiums on it. It's almost like that. So if somebody tells you they know everything about spiritual journey and life, and they're like, "Hey, buy my," I don't know, what do people try to sell, like, buy my ebook that I use Chat GBT to write for me, because I have no talent. For real. Seriously, that's what we are right now. But anyway, um, so you're not just in the realm of when you're walking on this journey, you're not just in the realm of the spiritual, you're in the realm of like just supernatural. A lot of it is really beyond us. It is with, we're growing generations down the line. I could imagine where we're going to be, but for now, you just keep continuing to walk in purpose. Is everything that everything that I say, is it going to hit on? Probably not. If you don't mind. We are talking about blessings are an opportunity and not the finish line. So that's what we were. What time is it? Yeah. So that's what basically that's what today's topic was, in a nutshell. And we talked about a few things and all of that good stuff. So but yeah, it is true. So so just remember, folks, blessings are the opportunity. You are someone else's opportunity in that moment. It's not just. It's like a young lady said. I remember one time I was doing an interview for a company, and it was like a bunch of us. It was like on a Zoom thing, and a lady came on. This lady, she worked for the company. She came on so strong, and she was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Yeah, your interview starts what she said, your interview starts as soon as you get here, and blah blah blah." She was just going off about this and that. And one lady was like, she was like, "Hey, hold on, hold on." She said, "This isn't just about y'all and y'all looking at us and trying to see if we're right for the role." She said, "The other way, the shoe is," she said, "is like the shoe has to be on the other foot too, because we have to figure out if this is right for us as well." And I was like, I felt that 100%, and because that's the truth. It's not just about said company hiring you and you just being, "Yay, hooray!" You have to make sure it's the right fit for you, and you have to, it has to work within your favor as well. So that's just naturally how that goes. I don't care what times we living in. That's just naturally what that is. So, but yeah. But anyway, again, folks, if this is your first time watching Mr. Soul of a Man, don't forget to subscribe. We'll be back on here tomorrow at 7 o'clock ish, and we'll make it do what it do. But thank y'all so much, and remember, blessings are an opportunity and not the finish line. But y'all have an amazing. What is this? Thursday? Um, no, Wednesday. Yeah, happy hump day, folks. Yeah, I do. Just yeah, if you need me, just hit me up in the inbox, and we'll work it out. But all right, y'all. Y'all have a great day. All right, peace.